27 years ago, my wife and I were stuck in a marriage that we had concluded was just irreconcilable. When I would hear people say, my wife is my best friend, I would just think, I have no idea what you're talking about. We are so different. I was convinced I had married the wrong person, and yet we both loved Jesus, and we'd met at a Bible college, and we'd both prayed for a godly mate, but we were unprepared for the level of conflict that we were experiencing in our marriage. And we were just cycling through the same arguments over and over and over and over. And I would say what I say, she'd say what she says, I would say it louder, and she would cry. What got my attention is one day just before church with another argument, she looked at me and said, I don't love you anymore. In fact, I have no feelings for you. My feelings are dead. And as a guy, it's easy to just push things aside and keep focusing on other things, but that got my attention. And so we said, let's get help. And we went to a couple Christian counselors, but it did not help. And it continued to get bad until one day we learned of a biblical counselor in our community. And we said, let's go see him. And we sat down in front of a biblical counselor who opened God's Word, and I was convinced that he was going to tell Vicki everything I was trying to tell her, but now she'd listen to him. She was, of course, convinced that he would tell me everything she'd been trying to say, and I would finally listen. And what he did is he opened God's Word, which neither of the other counselors had done, and listen well, and ask questions, and then speak to both of us, not just to the external superficial issues, but to the heart, and began to draw us out. And he helped me see things about myself that I had never seen before, that did not just revolutionize our marriage, it changed the way I think about life and ministry. This past weekend we celebrated 29 years of marriage, and we are the best friends in life. We have 5 children. We're doing ministry together. I can't recommend highly enough that if you're stuck in life, whether it's marriage or an addiction or depression or whatever, God's Word has answers. Seek out a biblical counselor, and ACBC is providing good biblical counseling for people who are hurting and need help and hope. It's also providing training for those who would say, show me how to help people. I've been doing this in my own church now for 20 years. Once you point people to Christ, they still have problems. Wouldn't you like to know how to use the Bible to help real people with real problems? It's filled with hope and help, all wrapped around Jesus Christ.